Guys, what's up, man? This is Dr. Gross with another episode of Relentlessly Committed Podcast. And this one I want to talk about was really simple. Is in the Bible, it talks about the death and resurrection of Lazarus. And this is a moment in time where Lazarus was sick and Martha and Mary were there. They were close to, Jesus was really close to Lazarus. And there was a moment of which Jesus refused to come. They wanted Jesus to come. I'm paraphrasing this, of course. And they wanted Jesus to come and save Lazarus from dying. And they said, I need you to come right away. So imagine you needing a person you love to come right away, and Jesus, didn't come right away. He says, basically, I'll see you in 2 days. And so in the meantime, Lazarus is fighting. Lazarus ends up dying, and people were so upset. So when Jesus finally comes 2 days later, like I said, I'm kind of paraphrasing this whole thing, give me the message. When Jesus finally comes 2 days later, Martha and Mary are kind of dejected. They're kind of upset. They're like, look, we believe in you and we've been here for you. We needed you to show up and you didn't show up. Like, we needed you to be here at this moment, but you didn't do it. And they basically go to the tomb. Lazarus has been dead roughly for 4 days. And then Jesus finally says, Lazarus, come walk. And, basically brings Lazarus back to life. The point of it is that we'll never see the true power of God if he always bails us out when we think we need him. It's never on our time, it's on God's time. And so sometimes your belief is here. And in order for us to believe here, we have to go through the pit and go through things in order to have a higher belief power. And so if, Jesus could have came and he could have prevented Lazarus from dying and everyone would have said, oh my God, you're the Messiah, and everything would have been great. But what Jesus did is show even more of the power of let them go through that pain, let them go through that suffering, let them go through that hurt so they have a better understanding who Jesus really is and the power of Christ. And so when we think of things as we go through things in our own life, we go through things, whether it's in business or in our family life or in our personal life, when we go through those things, it's a test that we have to go through things to raise our belief system to the next level, and or what is it that we have to learn from? You see this thing behind me, rise up, no pun intended, Lazarus rose up from the dead, right? Jesus also did that. But so many times our belief system, or when things are going good in business, or when things are going good in our life, we have the greatest belief system in the world. We think we can. And when things start going bad, we all of a sudden lose that belief. We lose that confidence because we don't believe we should have to go through things. But if you can really look back, if you really identify, it is those moments in your life when you go through something, or you have to endure something, or you have to go through the resistance that ultimately allows you to become the better version of yourself. So if we're Christ followers, or if we believe in a higher power, or whatever it is, why are we so shocked that we have to go through this pain or this discomfort? Like, you can take it in any realm of your body. You can take it in anything that you want to take it into. If it's in your body life, you must first meet resistance to gain muscle mass. You must first commit to eating properly or eating regularly to get the results you want. You must endure the resistance or the pain to get it to grow. Even your relationship with Christ, you have to have faith. Faith is things you believe in something even if they don't come your way. You got to put in the work to get the outcome in your family life. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices and go through some shit before you end up having the greatest relationship with your spouse. Or you got to go through some things before you have the greatest relationship with your kids. Because sometimes if his life was too easy, you would never change. You'd become very comfortable. And we see that in this world we live in. People want to be comfortable. They want to have stuff handed to them. And we know it doesn't work because we always say these kids in this generation are entitled. Why? Because they're not going through shit. We're going through more stuff than they're going through, and we're wondering why they're so shocked that they can't problem solve or they can't go through anything. We're the ones that are going through it with them, and they're not going through it. We're preventing them from going through it. So if anything, do we love them like we say we love them? And then we're shocked at why they can't get to where they want to get to. This is the way that society is set up. Society is set up so that we have to rely on somebody else to do our shit for us versus us going through it. There hasn't been a moment in my life that if I put the work into something I love, the outcome hasn't been what I wanted it to. But it's when I try to take the easy path, when I get really comfortable, is when things fail. You can look at it from a business aspect. You think about it in dentistry, and now I'm the dentist CEO, and I say I'm the dentist CEO because I want to show dentists how to become entrepreneurs and rise up to become the best version of themselves. But when you're in dentistry and you think of a team, the biggest part of trouble that you can see, the first sign of trouble, is when you're not growing any, when you stay stagnant, when your sales aren't any better, or matter of fact, they might be going worse. And you might have teammates that have been with you for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. But the reality of it is that sometimes you got to change the team. We become too comfortable. We become comfortable in our environment and don't want to go through any things. And so therefore, we either give up or we don't feel like there's any hope or we don't have to start or we don't have the energy. But the reality of it is if you would just go through it again, reinvent the wheel, you could conquer many things. The way I think of my life and the way I think of the outcomes of my life is anything that it was worth going through or any time you put energy into, you got the great outcome. Maybe that's what it's telling us about Lazarus and Mary and Martha. They had to go through what it was like to not rely on Jesus. Do they really believe in the power of Jesus? Do they really believe that they're any better than anybody else, that you shouldn't go through things? And we as Christians believe that. We believe we shouldn't have struggle in our personal life. We don't believe we shouldn't have struggles in our business life. But it's through those struggles and through that journey of struggles where we can learn the most. Sometimes we talk at the pit. You know, I'm part of Warrior and we talk about the pit. You got to go to the pit before you can get to the peak. The darkness before the light. You got to go through things. I walked through the valley of shadows of death is another part of the Bible. Didn't say I walked around it. Didn't say I jumped over. I walked through the valleys of shadow of death. Your life's going to be about pits and valleys and peaks and in another pit and other valleys and, pain and resistance and pressure. And you must think about it in a way of almost like a tree. If we're the trunk of the tree, if we are the trunk of the tree, we need to get our roots embedded in the ground so deep that therefore no matter what comes our way, Hurricane Katrina or whatever it is, or any elements, we can withstand it. It's the tree with the deepest roots, the stuff that you don't see, all the pain that it went through, all the resistance it had to go through, all the pressures it had to go through, that ultimately can grow to the tallest and be the biggest and thrive. It's the one with the weak root system that cannot. I mean, this is true to the day, even tying into biblical terms of what it meant to you. You got to go through things to become the best version of yourself. And when you tie it into business, because right now I want to tie it into business, when you're struggling in business, those are the lessons that you have to go through to become the best for yourself, because if it was easy, you would never grow. Greatest example is you can think of an analogy of a sports team, of which they might have won the Super Bowl, they got really close. Every year they're revamping the team. They're trying to cut some players, they're trying to add some free agents, they're trying to add some players. Why? To keep winning and going to the Super Bowl. Because that's the end prize. We as entrepreneurs, we as dentists, we don't think that way. We want to be comfortable. We want to be safe. We're okay with that $1 million practice, right? How do you get to that 2 million, 3 million, 4 million? How do you continue to grow? This is why MSOs and DSOs will never, ever, ever trump private practice, because they don't invest in the right things. They don't get rid of people. They don't get rid of the bottom 10%. You as dentists that are watching this, you're staying with the same office manager for 20 years that might not be working anymore. You have the same staff members that have been there for 15, 20 years that might not be working anymore. And yet you let them control your own schedule and dictate their own scheduling, but before you even do it. You're no longer even the leader. You're no longer even the CEO of your company. You're no longer the president. And why is that? Because we're comfortable. We got comfortable. We don't want to go through anything anymore. We'll just keep what we're doing, keep training the same team and expecting a different outcome. That's not how Super Bowl winning teams work. That's not how life works. If you're not constantly evolving and working on yourself and going through shit, you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. I'm not saying you got to go through it every single day, because you should have some great wins. You should go from the peak to the valley to the pit, back up to the peak, back down to the pit, back up to the. I mean, you're constantly evolving. My daughter said something to me one time: never go downstairs, go upstairs, because downstairs is too easy. People just glide. Go upstairs. Take a step higher in every direction. So when you encounter that pit, that problem in your life, look at it as, what is it that I'm supposed to learn? And then go through that as fast as you can go through it. Go through the valley, go through that pit, go through that struggle, and God will put you on the other side. Just like in Lazarus, when you didn't think it was possible that Jesus could resurrect Lazarus to walk after 4 days of being dead. He can pull you through anything. It's that hope and that faith. They always say faith of a mustard seed. Look at your company and your business. What is it that you have to go through? You have to get rid of staff members. Do you have to go through the struggle of how to scale? How to stabilize, how to even have an exit plan? I got to go through it. What pit do you have to go through before you finally find the other peak? It's the people that stop being comfortable. It's the people that continue to push themselves every single day that ultimately win this game of life. Are you willing to grind and work it out? Are you willing to rise to the challenge? That's the main question. So I hope this message helps. If you need help in any way, growing a business, being an entrepreneur, being a dentist who wants to thrive their practice, even if you want to stabilize it, Do you want to scale it? Do you want to even go to the next level and get out? Hey man, I'm your guy. DM me. Or you can email me at drbobby@thedentistco.com, and I'd be more than happy to literally help you crush your dreams. I'm mentoring and coaching multiple dentists. I've been doing it over the last 2-3 years. I've been doing dentistry over 21 years. I have 7 different businesses. What is it that you're willing to go through to get what you want? That's the question. Have a great day.